Jay-Z has been accused in a new civil lawsuit of sexual assault in connection with Sean Diddy Combs. The news is everywhere. It's caused this huge media frenzy. Everyone in hip hop is talking about it. I want to break down what the charges are and specifically Jay's response, as well as the response of fans and the industry. Let's talk about it. So yesterday, NBC News broke the story that Jay-Z has been named in a civil lawsuit along with Sean Diddy Combs and an unnamed female celebrity around a 2000 alleged assault that took place at a MTV Video Music Awards after party. Initially, the unnamed Jane Doe filed a lawsuit in October where she named Sean Diddy Combs as well as an unnamed male celebrity and an unnamed female celebrity. Of course, at the time, there was a lot of speculation. People were looking at old pictures from the 2000 MTV VMAs to see who Puffy was hanging out with, who he was partying with. But now we see in a refile suit that she claims that Jay-Z is the male celebrity involved in her alleged sexual assault. I'm going to link the full legal filing in the description. I think it's important in these cases that you actually read the legal filing. So many of the news stories I've seen, they don't actually link to it. So I think it's a worthwhile thing to read it. The lawsuit claims that in 2000, when the accuser was 13 years old, she was assaulted by Puffy and Jay at this house party. She says that she went to the Video Music Awards, which at the time were at Radio City here in New York. She wanted to get into the award show, was unable to do that. She ends up meeting a limousine driver, and he invites her to this Puffy after party. The accuser claims that at the after party, she drank a beverage that made her feel woozy. She then went to a bedroom to lay down, and that's when, according to her, Puffy, Jay, and this unnamed female celebrity came into the room, and that's when these assaults took place. The accuser then says that she was fully distraught. She took her clothes, ran out of the house, and ended up getting to a gas station where she was able to call her father to come pick her up. As NBC News is reporting, the accuser is seeking unspecified damages. The lawsuit is filed under New York's Victims of Gender-Motivated Violence Protection Act. Following these bombshell allegations, Jay-Z did something that I don't think any of us was expecting. He took to social media to share a statement. And I'm going to put the statement up on the screen. It's a pretty lengthy statement. It was shared by Roc Nation, which is his company. Jay didn't sign the statement, but from the way it's written, it's very much in the first person. And in the statement, he really focuses on going after the accuser's attorney. For those of you who don't know, the accuser is represented by Tony Buzbee. Tony Buzbee is an attorney out of Texas who's really gained acclaim through the Diddy allegations. This is the individual who put up that hotline for any victims to come forward. He's constantly in the media, constantly on social media. This is someone who likes to utilize the media to bring a lot of profile to himself as well as to his cases. As you can see from Jay-Z's statement, this is a very emotional response. And this is someone who is clearly angered by these allegations, and he feels like it's blackmail. He feels that Tony Buzbee specifically has almost been trying to extort him, going after his money, trying to gain some sort of a settlement from this quietly, and Jay-Z is saying that he's not going to go down quietly. This is in part what Hov says. No, sir, it had the opposite effect. It made me want to expose you for the fraud that you are in a very public fashion. So no, I will not give you one red penny. The thing about civil cases, we're talking about financial compensation. Tony Buzbee has made it very clear that the unnamed male celebrity, now we know it's Jay-Z, but before we didn't know the identity of, and the unnamed female celebrity have the opportunity to come to the mediation table and pretty much make this go away with money. So I can understand from Jay's perspective, He feels like he's innocent. He feels like he's being sort of railroaded and pulled into this whole Diddy allegation spectacle. Jay continues, these allegations are so heinous in nature that I implore you to file a criminal complaint, not a civil one. Whomever would commit such a crime against a minor should be locked away. Would you not agree? He also talks about the effect that these allegations are going to have on his family, specifically Beyonce and their 3 kids. My only heartbreak is for my family. My wife and I will have to sit our children down, one of whom is at the age where her friends will surely see the press and ask questions about the nature of these claims and explain the cruelty and greed of people. Meanwhile, Puffy's lawyers also slammed the latest suit and they called it shameless publicity stunts. So let's talk about Jay's response. I think I was very surprised because Jay-Z is someone who doesn't really say a lot. He doesn't do interviews. He rarely speaks on things. So for him to come out with such an emotional reaction, something that clearly has personally affected him, it professionally affects him, I was a bit surprised by it. That said, it also feels like he's just fed up. So imagine if you are Jay-Z, you feel like you are innocent, you're being railroaded by what you deem to be these heinous charges, it's affecting you, it's affecting your family, and you don't want someone like a Tony Buzbee to come around and say, just pay money and we can make this go away. In Jay's mind, no, I have the money, the power, the reputation, as well as probably one of the best litigation firms in the country. I have all of that at my disposal. You are not going to bully me. You're not going to blackmail me. I'm not someone who's going to sort of, shrink away and want to make all of this go away. I'm willing to fight for my name and I'm willing to fight for my reputation. So in that way, I do understand Jay-Z's sentiment. And I think any of us, if we were put in a situation where we were accused of absolutely horrendous things, we may just have that visceral response and come out swinging, and to come out very much on the offensive, like, you're not going to bully me, you're not going to put me into a corner, I'm going to show you that I'm a formidable adversary. I think the problem is the minute that Jay took to social media, he showed that he was a part of the social media conversation. And for him to put out such a personal statement, such an emotionally charged statement, that's exactly what social media wants. And you could see very quickly Tony Buzbee responding on Twitter with his own statement. He is a master at working the media. He's a master of publicity. He wants these allegations to take place in the court of public opinion. And in his mind, now he's at war, a social media war with Jay-Z, one of the biggest and most famous people in the world. And I think that's going to be one of the biggest challenges as we're dealing with these Diddy allegations or any allegations facing celebrities of this manner. All of this is playing out on social media, on the internet. I mean, Jay-Z even mentioned fake psychics and conspiracy theorists. That's where it's playing out, and that's not where it should be playing out. The minute this news broke, social media has gone crazy. It's like a total frenzy. And it's very polarized. You have people who already have convicted Jay-Z, already convicted Puffy. Then you have people who are fans specifically who are defending. And my advice to anybody, whether you're a fan, if you're in the media, especially if you're in the media, it's really important to take a neutral approach as much as possible. None of us were in that room where the alleged acts took place. And we all have our internal biases that might move us to one way or another. But these are very serious allegations. They involve sexual assault. They involve a person who at the time was 13 years old, so someone who's a minor. And they need to be treated with care. They need to be treated with seriousness. But also we have to let the legal situation and the legal system play out. An accuser has every right to make accusations, and the accused has every right to defend themselves. We don't know how any of this is going to play out. And I'm not saying that the courtroom is the best place, because we have seen where innocent people are found guilty or guilty people are allowed to walk free, but it's the best system that we have. And at the very least, I think it's important to look at the actual allegations, look at the facts that we have, the evidence that we have, and to let both sides state their case. Now is not the time to get sort of swept up in the gossip and the salaciousness. These are real people's lives, and I think we have to always remember that. And it's going to be really hard. As I said in my previous video about the Diddy allegations, the focus is not really on sexual violence, power dynamics, making the music industry and the world at large just like safer for women and young people. I feel somewhere that narrative has been lost, and now it's all about the celebrity angle, wanting to know, the sex lives of famous people. And I just feel like we're like losing the narrative and kind of bearing the lead of what the focus should be. It's really turned into a media circus, into a social media spectacle, and I hear very few people wanting to talk about victims' rights, wanting to talk about justice, the truth. Like, these are just not words I'm hearing. It's everything else around it. And I just don't think that it helps any actual victims. And it also doesn't lead to real institutional change, which is what a lot of us really want and want the focus to be on. So as I said, I'm going to put the refile lawsuit, a link to it in the description. You can read the whole thing yourself. I'm also going to link Jay-Z's statement that he shared on social media, so you can read that as well. And it's a big story, and it's a very serious story. So it's something that we'll continue to follow. And, again, my advice to myself as well as to everyone out there is it's really important for us to remove our biases from this conversation, our fandom from these conversations, and also just immediately convicting people, because I do feel like there is also that kind of fervor that I don't think in the long term is going to help any of the real victims.